I'd like to welcome you guys to this week's report. Today is Thursday, September 5th, and I'm going to keep this report kind of short and to the point here because it is warm enough in my studio garage here to reverse here a steak if I wanted to. So hopefully I finish it up before I sweat through my shirt, because I don't want to put you guys through that. Anyway, so the weather's a big thing this weekend. The reports are all over the place. 2 days ago it was supposed to be blowing 25 in the channel between Long Beach and Cat on Saturday afternoon. Now it's looking like very little wind Saturday, Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday along the beach inside of Clemente. I don't know if that's true or not. It's rare that the forecast changes that dramatically basically overnight. But that's what it did. So I'm going to just give you guys the advice to take the report with a grain of salt and base your on-the-water judgment as to what the weather might do. If it's windy earlier, it's going to be windier later. Just keep that in mind. It's not going to blow hard in the morning and back off. So if you're going somewhere far, definitely keep that in mind. Right now it looks pretty windy in the northern Channel Islands and out west in the tuna grounds by the Cortez and Tanner. But everywhere else looks okay. But again, I keep close tabs on that weather and see, because I don't really trust the forecast right now. So heading up to the Channel Islands, I believe that area is going to be pretty blown out all weekend. If private boaters, you're probably going to end up being stuck fishing on the coast. If you want to launch up there, you might be better off launching somewhere else. You might be able to run over to the lee of Santa Cruz, but depending on what that wind does in the afternoon, you might pay for it on the way home. Good news up there, there's some bass biting along the coast. Larry Heron was up there over the weekend of Calico Hunter Charters, and he reported pretty good bass fishing, a mix of calicos and sand bass on swim baits, up to about 5.5 pounds. So that's always something fun to do up there. You know, you're kind of protected from the wind up that way. At least it looks like in the forecast. So yeah, who knows? If you're on a sport boat, let the captain decide if you're going to go out or not. But private boaters, I'd advise against it. Also, any teams fishing the Master Angler Billfish tournament this year, they're planning to go up to the Channel Islands to fish. You might want to keep this wind in mind. I know last year the tournament, most of the fish were caught up that way, but it was a hell of a lot less windy. And yeah. So heading down to Clemente. Got some coverage over the week again here. Several friends went over there. My friend James Little fished there, I think, on Saturday, and had pretty wide open bass fishing. No real giants, but good steady fishing on weedless swim baits. A lot of fun at this time of year. And Jerry Mayhew of Clear Choice Poppers and the Saltwater Bass Series fame spent the weekend over there with his girlfriend Dina, and actually camped on his 22-foot Robalo Cayman, which is not something I would ever advise anyone to do. That just sounds horrible to me. Yeah, I don't know. I guess if yeah, I'm not going to make judgment, but yeah, I couldn't imagine camping overnight on my boat. But he took advantage of it. He had good fishing both days, lots of big calico bass. He also hooked a real big yellow, got broke off on the surface iron, saw some boiling around. There's yellows biting at the island. I know the guys getting squid or getting some real big ones over there. And they're also getting some yellows on the front side. I know the Blackfish was over there fishing yellows the other day. They caught yellows and bass before running off catching tuna. And the Fury at a data point actually had Bluefin come up while they were fishing the island. And they got a couple of big ones well on anchor fishing for bass and yellowtail, which is pretty cool. I think the way the forecast looks, Clemente should be fishable. Private boaters, beware. But sport boats might do it. Heading to Catalina, there hasn't been a whole lot coming out of the island. Bass, barracuda, bonita are biting over there, but nothing too exciting. A few scattered yellows. I went over there on Friday morning. Yeah, it's all ready to go. I fished a lot this week, so we launched at like 9 and got to Cat around 10:30. And the bass fishing on the backside west end was really slow. I think we missed the morning window, and the conditions were not setting up right for the afternoon due to a lot of overcast. My buddy Javon, who has just got a 19-foot Parker, he's a guy I fished with for most of my adult life before I got my own skiff. And he ran over to Cat on Friday as well and fished the front side west end and had really good bass fishing, and also hooked and lost a yellow that broke him off on a hard bait. But yeah, we decided, we fished the island for about an hour and peeled off to fish tuna, or look for tuna anyway. But I'll talk a little bit more about that in the offshore report. So heading into the coast, bass fishing is good in some areas, horrible in others. Santa Monica Bay starting up there. My friend Bobby Martinez, the master of the Santa Monica Bay, was out on Tuesday, and he had some good bass fishing on deep water structure. He had a nice big sand bass, just under 10 pounds, 9 something, and some other real nice ones. I talked to Marcus, who fished on Twilight on New Del Mar. He said the big bass have been biting really well for their Twilight trips. I know New Del Mar is currently in the yard having something done. Hopefully be back in action soon. But Marcus caught fish up to 7 pounds, had a nice limit. I'm sure he caught plenty more that he passed out to the anglers who weren't as good at fishing. So yeah, I fished twice at PB. I fished there on Saturday, and I fished there on Tuesday. Saturday we went, I think we got up there pretty early. I don't remember when we launched. Probably 9 o'clock again. And the fishing sucked. I think we caught 4 bass all day. But Matt caught an absolute monster, which was great. The fish have been keyed in up around Rocky Point on really tiny anchovy that are on the edges of the kelp bed. And really the only way to catch them up there is to basically drive around, get yourself in an area where there's bait and bass boiling, and actually not really cast until you see the fish come up, because there are not a lot of fish, they're not everywhere, and they're really tightly packed up. So we got a few fish doing that, and this big one that Matt got. The small bait's moving really fast. Yeah. Oh, some cheese right there. Yeah.
Throw that slug in there. The boil right there. A big boil blew up on it.
More boils?
That was a big boil that blew up on that bait. Big fucking boil.
Just now?
Yeah. About 10 feet to the right. Oh, there's a fish. Okay. Oh, yeah. That's not a bass.
What do you got?
I don't know. It's a bass. It's a big one. It's in the fucking kelp now.
Just keep pulling. You took line?
Huh?
You took line?
He did. Big fucking head shakes. Son of a bitch. Hope he stays on.
Get this one, buddy.
I can see the. Yeah, I see it right there. Oh, yeah, big
right
bass.
There. Well, that's a good one.
Fuck.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a nice one.
Wow. There you go. A little swim bait, huh? Nice.
Eric, that might be the biggest bass of my life.
Is it that big?
Eric.
Oh, Jesus. That is a big bass.
Okay. That right there.
No, it's not. It's 8 plus.
You think so?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Eric.
I want to take a picture of that.
You think we should?
Yeah, here, get him right. Well, that's a nice one.
There was another one with him.
Yeah, I saw it. There.
Yeah, that's a... I'm gonna measure him. No, it's not the biggest in my life for sure, but that's an 8-pound fish.
See, that fish was probably mid to high 8-pound range. Real nice fish, over 24 inches long. Biggest fish he's caught in a while. Yeah, I look back, it's been a couple years since we got one that range up there, and before that it was maybe 6 years before that. So, you know, they're pretty hard to come by up at Palace Brewery's lot. You get a lot of the nicer grade fish, you know, that 5-pound plus range, like this one that Matt got on the hard bait a little bit earlier in that trip. Got one?
Yep.
Nice.
Nice one.
Good one.
Whoa!
Hey, there you go. Nice way to start the day off there.
Yeah, here we go.
That's a toad.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. Last 2 trips up here, they've been nice fish.
Yeah, so up there it seems like, 95, 98% of the bass are small, under 3 pounds, and you get that 4 to 5 pound range stuff, and then once in a while you get a 6 or 7 pounder. But those 8 pound plus fish are pretty hard to catch. We'll see them a lot. They'll follow a bait or they'll whiff at it, not connect. But what was interesting, we went back on Tuesday and we had another shot at another fish like that. This time I caught it. And I know this video sucks because I was fishing in the back of the boat, but didn't really get the whole bite or anything on camera. But I think the size of the fish definitely warrants showing it.
Oh, you got a bit, huh?
Just missed one right there.
Oh, good.
Bit me so fast I thought I had kelp until I saw the boil. Looked like one wind and got bit. There we go. Got him.
Nice.
That's a good one.
Sweet. Oh, yeah, look at that fucking boil. Wow.
That's a big bass.
Yeah. Stay on. Oh, yeah.
Look at that thing.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Now that's a 10 pounder.
My God. That is a PV beauty right there.
Look at this thing. Yeah. Get my camera phone and take a picture. Here.
That's a big one. That looks very similar to the one I got.
Bigger than that.
You think so?
Oh yeah. You get it this way. Flip the camera one more time.
Oh, that's a big one.
Look at that thing. Good Lord.
Not many bites, but they're big ones.
Here we go. Yeah, I know that my friend Ben Sechrist always says, wait or don't say it, so I'm not going to say it. But that fish was over 26 inches long and well over the mark that we're all looking for. And I guess that doesn't really matter to me if it weighs or not. That's the biggest bass I've caught on the coast. I caught one at Clemente a few years ago at Decker that was over 27 inches. And, that's I posted on Instagram that's a bass of 100,000 casts, but that's probably 300,000 or 400,000 casts to get a shot of the fish like that. And that fish was just in the perfect position, isolated patch of kelp, away from the main bed, made a cast on it, got short bit the second hit the water, so I knew it was a very aggressive fish. I took like a half wind, got tail bit, never got the bait. Made another cast to the same spot in the kelp, but further past it, so I get the bait working properly. And when I brought it across the front edge of that kelp, that thing ate it and it left a boil that was about the size of a trash can. So really cool to see, really cool to catch. Definitely made my local year here. It's been really an odd year at Palos Verdes, and I think one of the reasons the bass fishing's been tough up there is, I'm sure you guys have heard on the news about the landslides they're having up at Portuguese Bend up there, where they're closing those houses and stuff. Bass don't like earthquakes, they don't like land movement. Something about it shakes the ground. very sensitive lateral lines, and it will shut them down. I've gone to PV before and had great bass fishing the day before. Get up there and there's just not a bass to be caught, and sure enough there's an earthquake earlier that day or something like that. So something to keep in mind, there's a big earthquake, you might as well stay home, I guess. In other news, so yeah, down in bass are biting all over along the coast there. Tom Troop was out. I saw him over the weekend at some point, maybe Tuesday, maybe Sunday, Saturday, I don't know. But he ended up with 90 bass for that CCA Star Tournament, so I'm really keeping my fingers crossed that he gets that boat. He could certainly use it. Dana Point boats have been catching calico bass as well on their 3/4 day trips and stuff, half day trips. So I think that probably a boat could go anywhere from Oxnard to San Diego. Probably have good bass fishing right now, which is a good option considering the weather we might be having. The only other local news I have is I heard from my friend Brian Chastain this afternoon. He took a look offshore this morning and ended up not seeing anything, and then he pulled into the rockfish zone there by the rigs and had really good fishing for reds in about 250 to 290 feet of water on slow pitch jigs. So that's an option. If you do rockfish, you have to remember you have to stay under 300 feet until October 1st. So the only thing else happening along the coast is not technically the coast, but it's the Coronado Islands. The yellows are still biting down there. It slowed down a bit, which it's been doing from time to time. It might bounce right back by the time you watch this, but early in the week, the Grande had 63 yellows down there and a nice yellowfin tuna. I'd heard about some yellowfin being down there, so it's nice to see those guys catching one. And as we go into the offshore zone here, I want to say that there is a lot of yellowfin tuna around that no one's catching. And when I say a lot, I mean it. We pulled off Cat at Ben Weston, ran about 10 miles off the island on a course for parallel to the west end, and about halfway between the west end and the Osborne Bank, we found a big school of dolphin. And when I say big, it was probably, I don't know, a mile of dolphins spread out. And every time there was a tight patch of dolphin, there were yellowfin tuna on them. And I mean, where you're marking yellowfin from 20 to 100 feet sometimes, just solid. We could not get them to bite a single thing. I saw one fish come up and boil as we were running up on a school of dolphin, sank out. That same day, my friend Javon going home from the front side of Catalina, saw him outside of the west end. I heard of him outside of Empire Landing. As we were running home, we decided to run through that tuna zone along the beach from the previous week where those bluefin were. And we found more dolphin with more yellowfin on them. The closest dolphin that had yellowfin on them were 3 miles off Point Furman, where I could see the LA light. I'm metering yellowfin on dolphin, and that was actually a spot where when we were trying to run on it, birds got tight, yellowfin came up foaming in the middle of the dolphin for like 10 seconds and sank out. They're out by the rigs, outside the rigs, basically anywhere off the shelf you have a chance. If there's dolphin and turns on them, they probably have yellowfin on them. No one's catching them. Sport boats are seeing them. Knowledgeable guys are seeing them. I know what tuna look like on the meter, so I'm not metering dolphin. And if these things decide to bite, we're gonna have really good yellowfin tuna fishing. And but they're not biting anything. We tried dropping flat falls on, we tried dropping swim baits on them, we tried every trick in the book. We had tiny little Daimiki backdrops just to see if we could get them to react, but they wouldn't. And no poppers, top water, all that stuff. They are just guys have been throwing bait on them, trolling them, cedar plugs and rapalas, everything else. They just have lockjaw right now. Something's going to change. Maybe the new moon that's coming up, I think, or if it's a new moon. But yeah, if those things decide to bite, we're going to have really good fall fishing here. So it talks along my iPad shut up. Bear with me here. All right. So in other coastal stuff, or offshore stuff, sorry. The marlin are still biting. Buddy Jared on the Gale Force got another one yesterday. I think it's the second or third this season. I went marlin fishing on Sunday after the 14-mile bank. We were thinking about fishing cat, but it was very crowded over there, being Labor Day weekend. So we figured we'd have less pressure to 14. No fish were seen or caught while, well, actually there was a couple of feeders seen while I was out there. And then after we left, our friend Dave DuBois on the bullpen had a double, got a couple more on. He actually got a couple there the day before too. Somewhere in that general area anyway. I think they were a little bit west there when they got those fish. But there's marlin around. If you want to catch them, you need to get an area that they're likely to be, and that involves finding an area with bait. The 14, its surroundings were pretty devoid of it, so we spent a lot of time driving around, boxing the bank, fishing shallower, deeper, looking for different areas that might have bait. And the few areas that we had bait looked good, but birds on and stuff. But we went through the morning tide, no bites, so we called it a morning. On to the bluefin. Earlier in the week, I think over the weekend, the gray light out of Ventura caught a couple bluefin. I'm sure they're not catching them at the Channel Islands, probably somewhere between there and Santa Barbara Island. That zone where these tuna are biting is basically from the west end of Cat to above Santa Barbara out towards Nick and a little bit beyond Nick in that general area off the west end of Clemente. That's the northern zone, I would call it, and they move around a lot. My friend Briggs, who I fished with marlin with on Sunday, he went out Friday the same day I was out, and he kind of fished near that zone where we saw those yellowfin. And him and his buddies were trolling a madback in between spots that they were going to go look, and caught a 140-pound bluefin. No other sign of anything there. No birds, no life, no meter marks, no nothing. So the fish just scattered around. The guys that are focusing on the flying fish have been consistently catching fish. I heard from Oliver. He's had really good fishing. And that's Oliver Nye from Big Bass Dreams. And he's still on them pretty consistently. He's laying in for weather the next few days. But he does have some openings. Like I said last week, you can email him at oliver@bigbassdreams.com if you want to look into a trip there.
There you go. That's two, baby! Oh, man!
Oh,
one more.
There.
Big tuna dreams come to life.
Can't.
Oh, we bit!
We got bit.
As that tip comes up, you gotta crank.
Oh my god, look at the size of that fish. Dude, that thing's
You did lose the fish, baby. Watch your feet.
Big tuna dreams.
Oh, man! You missed it.
The multi-day boats are catching big bluefin at night in that zone. It's a huge zone, I'm talking. It's probably 80 square miles, maybe more. But they move around from day to day, mostly associated with banks and ridges. So you gotta kind of have to find them. I don't think this is the weekend to find them on a private boat. It's pretty windy out there. There are also some bluefin biting at Clemente or near Clemente. The blackfish found some on the way home from their full-day trip the other day, and the next day they went and caught some more. They're getting those on flying fish, and all. I think some fish have been caught on poppers. They're definitely up foaming.
Come down, watch out.
Yeah! I'll take it. 1, 2, we got 3 in the bow. It's fucking.
First or both? First yellowtail, first tuna.
We got a 3-banger.
Yeah. Remind us not to do that again.
Hey, we had.
Might be a little bit big for most guys to fish on poppers, but Seeking Sport Fishing was out there as well. They've got some trips available out of Dana Point. I know that the Blackfish out of Newport has some, I think, open party trips available. If not, I'm sure they have charter dates available. It's a good time to go now. You're going to have less traffic out there. And if you fish guys like Mitch on the Blackfish, who's running 4 or 5 days a week or more, he's got pretty close tabs on what's happening with those fish. So you have a better chance of catching them. I mentioned the Fury Kitchen, the Bluefin at the island. Yeah, I forgot to mention, so after we didn't catch any yellowfin on Friday close to the beach, we went back out to that same zone on Tuesday? No. Friday? Saturday? Yeah, we went the next day, Saturday. And we looked back at that same zone, and there's more dolphin with yellowfin on them out there, but based on how they'd been active, we decided to just shine it and fish bass. Yeah, so down south, there were some tuna caught, bluefin, stuff like that. The problem is that there's not a lot. I know the San Diego went yesterday on their full day trip. They ran 122 miles and saw one school of fish. So I'm sure they're going to keep doing that and hopefully they relocate it. Otherwise, get ready for a boat ride, but that's what it takes sometimes. And finally, out of Tanner and Cortez, it's still biting, yellows, bluefin. I know the Freedom was out there on their day-and-a-half. They had limits, 72 fish, as well as 5 yellows. Thunderbird's been out there, all those boats, complaining about the wind. It's going to be even windier this weekend, so it might not be a great weekend to do it. But yeah, that's about it. I'm probably at a medium well right now as far as the heat goes, so I'm going to call it a day. But I hope you guys have a great weekend and good luck if you fish.